Hello guys, we continue talking about meaning of our emotions, and in the previous video I described how our emotions always have some meaning. However, today we're going to talk when search for meaning becomes actually harmful. We're going to talk about perfectionism of inside perfectionism. Um, inside of perfectionism is idea that to change something in my life, I need perfect insight first. I need to understand how everything works first. I need to understand what my single emotion means first. Mm, While in reality, it's not always like that. So when we have this inside perfectionism, we try to understand our emotions and we try to completely understand them, and we dig and we dig and we dig and we dig and we think and we think and we think and we analyze it and we think about it so much and so on. Well, in reality, it's not always necessary to completely understand our emotions, and it's fine sometimes to say that okay, this emotion probably needs has some meaning, but I not don't need to understand it all right now. Like for example, maybe your emotion of feeling let's say lonely does have some reasons and meaning. Will it help to just dig in it and think about it, or just go and meet a friend and then you will feel better? Okay, so sometimes we don't need to dig deep. We don't need to overanalyze our emotions in order to change them. We don't need to overanalyze our needs in order to meet them. Sometimes we can do it intuitively just by acting, and this is very important. So, idea number one that you should remember: to change your life, to change actually your day, to change your emotional state, you do not need to completely understand everything. This is fine not to understand something. And some people get stopped here because maybe they have anxiety and they feel like if I don't understand everything about myself, I will go insane or I will lose control or something else. Well, in reality, no, it doesn't happen. If you try to understand yourself very much all the time, maybe the reason is anxiety and desire to control yourself in all possible ways. So check it out. So idea number one is you do not need complete insight to change things. You don't need complete insight into how your body works and why you should exercise in order to exercise. You can just exercise. You do not need complete insight on how food influences your body. You can just eat. You do not need full understanding on why and how you feel lonely if you don't meet your friends often enough. You can just meet friends. So sometimes this over analysis of different things is driven by anxiety. Sometimes it's driven by this desire to over control yourself and your life. Sometimes it's driven by like your desire to avoid something, avoid new experiences and avoid trying new things. So yeah, often this perfectionism of insight always often it looks like this idea, this way of trying to find some dark secret in your past, like trying to find this one particular trauma that made you feel a certain way, and idea that once you find this trauma you will be healed. And this is, by the way, idea that Freud was kind of proposing, that if someone is traumatized, you need to understand why they're traumatized and then they will be healed. Well, in reality, sometimes people get healed without understanding why they get traumatized. Sometimes people understand why they get traumatized and they don't get healed. So understanding what is this one particular dark secret in your past that causes you to feel a certain way, that causes you to feel certain emotions, is often misleading. And this perfectionism of insight is often making you overanalyze your past, overanalyze your present, overanalyze your feelings instead of actually achieving your goals. Here, I will draw you an example. So here are you, and here is your goal. You can go to your goal directly, like that, or you can go to your goal by different ways. Okay, and sometimes we choose a way, and while in reality this way is not, first of all, the only one, and secondly, the most effective one. Like, for example, this way, you believe you need to first go to the sun, and then once you go to the sun, you will fall to your goal. This is a silly example, but this is what happens in perfectionism of insight. Like, I need to first understand why everything is this way, and only then I can get to this goal. Or it can happen when someone thinks like, I first need to look perfectly and then I can get in a relationship. I need to first become successful in something and then I can get friends. Well, in reality, the real goal is friends. So all these different ways in which we're trying to meet a goal sometimes can be misleading. Like, for example, it's almost impossible to get to the sun. So if you have this idea that you need total, complete insight in all of your feelings, all of your needs, all of your past to get to your goal, you might end up just jumping there and 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 wasting a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of energy without actually getting to your goal. Instead, sometimes it's nice to just decide, okay, I'll go there, like that. Haha. Yes, so, but don't feel bad if you have this perfectionism of insight. Even Freud had. So, well, maybe not completely, but he had this idea that you need to understand trauma and then it's healed. While in reality, no, it doesn't work this way. In reality, you don't have to understand the problem to solve it. Sometimes it's helpful to understand the problem, but not always. Sometimes you can just solve it without deep understanding. And sometimes acting is better than just thinking again and again and again and again and over analyzing everything and getting lost in this over analysis. Yeah. So let's summarize. Perfectionism of insight has several main ideas. Idea number one is to change my life, I need full insight. Not true. Idea number two is that if I find some kind of dark secret in my past, some kind of, if I remember something particular, then my present gonna change. Also, not true. And number three is, for example, when we come back to our feelings and emotions, if I do not understand my feelings completely, I cannot change them, I cannot understand them, and I cannot let them go. So the person is trying to understand again and again and again and again what they feel in order to let go of these feelings. While in reality, again, we don't need to understand every single feeling that we have, because we have many feelings, they go through us every day, and like, we just don't have time and resources and energy to overanalyze every small single feeling. We can just notice it and say, okay, I'm not sure what I feel, but I let it go because I need to focus on something else. So sometimes it's good to let feelings go, even if you don't understand them completely. Sometimes you can understand them in just, like, more or less. Like, you more or less understand what these feelings mean, and that's fine. Good enough. No need to investigate and to have like a whole thesis written about this one particular feeling. Um, what instead we need to do? First of all, ask yourself, does always understanding is more important, or is it more important what is helpful to you at this moment? Like, if you feel sad, is it always important to understand and think about all the reasons why you feel sad? Maybe it's better to, I don't know, make a cup of tea and enjoy a cup of tea. Maybe it's much better for you. So maybe my suggestion is for you to try, instead of over analyzing one particular feeling that you have, or a set of feelings, try to understand which values, which behavior, which actions, which goals will be helpful for you, and try to achieve them. So focus on your present and your future instead of over analyzing your past. um, and also important to know is that the reasons for emotion and where it comes from is not as important as your ability to regulate and interpret this emotion. So what we think about this emotion and how we regulate it is often more important than why it appeared and all that. So if you need more techniques and everything to alter your beliefs about inside perfectionism, you can check out my cognitive skills playlists. There you get techniques to do that. But I'm mentioning it because in the previous videos we discussed how understanding the meaning of your emotions is very important, but as always, balance is nice to have. So not over analyzing your emotions, not overthinking about your emotions, not trying to understand them completely is also important. So we try to have some understanding of meaning of our emotions, but not dig ourselves into it very deeply. Okay, so yes, so that we have time and energy to actually live our life instead of just analyzing one single emotion. Yeah, so your home task will be analyzing if you have any perfectionism of insight, and if you have this tendency to overanalyze yourself, and analyzing why you have it and what is driving you there. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's attempts to avoid trying something new, maybe it's your habit to overanalyze things to feel safe, for example. So try to analyze and try to change this habit because it's not useful. Like having some understanding where your emotions come from and where like why they appear and so on is good, but spending a huge amount of time on over analysis is not good. It can make you feel actually worse. So if you feel tired, you don't need to understand all the biochemistry of tiredness, you can just go sleep. If you feel lonely, you can just go meet a friend instead of thinking for hours why you feel lonely and so on and so on. And in order to let some feelings go, in order to achieve some goals, you don't need to understand something completely. And to change your present and future, you do not need to completely understand your past and to dig for some dark secret in your past. So I hope this video was useful for you, and I see you in the next video, hopefully. And we're gonna talk about duration of emotions. And yes, continue with our emotional regulations and emotional theories. Bye bye. And remember to share this video. This is my best thank you that you can give me. I'm very happy when I see new people coming, and when I see that, you know, in YouTube statistics, you can see that they came because you shared them, shared the link to videos, and it makes me very happy. Yes, and also put likes, write comments so that YouTube knows that this is good video and it can promote it to others, and other people can stop overanalyzing their feelings and events in their life. Bye bye.